Hey y'all, we're going to talk about Bijou Phillips today. Um, Bijou Phillips, her father was or is John Phillips from The Mama and the Papas. And that in itself is an interesting story. Bijou's a Scientologist. Her father apparently, allegedly messed with her sister's half sister, and her sister came to her and told her about it, and she didn't believe her. I'm taking that as it being part of the whole Scientology thing. Um, but her and Danny were together for 19 years. They married in 2011, and they have a daughter that was born in 2014, which would make her 9 or 10 years old right now. 9 years old, I believe. But in the character letter, it was kind of uneventful. She described him as a devoted, loving father. Talked about how he would walk her daughter to. Sorry, I had to readjust. How he would walk her to dance lessons, help her with homework, and help her with like piano lessons, things of that nature, which is great. You can be a wonderful father at home and still be a monster away from your children. But she also described him as the main provider. She mentioned him starting a vineyard of 6,000 vines that he took care of himself for 6 years, I believe it was, after that 70s show ended. And how he was taking classes to learn about the grapes and the wine and the agriculture end of things, and also another class for the business end of it, of winemaking and selling wine and things of that nature. Um, which personally I find ironic that wine was his go to idea. We'll discuss the irony in a second because the irony is coming up. But she also mentioned how strongly he's against drugs. This is where the irony comes in. Technically, alcohol is a drug. I mean, you're not going to find it on a paper as being considered a hard drug or things like that. But it's still technically considered a drug in some class, way, shape, or form. And allegedly, he is an alcoholic. And Bijou talks about how he's so against drugs and he's gotten his friends off of drugs and coworkers off of drugs and gotten them sober and all that. Okay. Let me forefront with allegedly before I say this because I can't fit allegedly into this sentence. Allegedly. Yeah, he's so against drugs, except for when he's slipping them into his victims' drinks. I'm saying allegedly, but I mean, there's enough evidence to say he did it. There really is. And I don't know how much I can believe of him being against drugs. Because isn't he, I might be wrong, but isn't one of the people he's friends with one of like the big drug guys in Hollywood? Like an actor who's like known for his drug use? And plus, and this goes back to the irony of the vineyard. Why would an alleged alcoholic who is now, or was, I should say, before the sentencing, in the medical wing of this city prison, county prison, for alcoholism and basically not being able to sleep without alcohol, being very antisocial, basically only wanting to drink and needing to be given medication just so he can sleep and function. How how did he think that was a good idea to run a vineyard? But back to Bijou. I noticed in the letter, other than her mentioning how he saved her and financially he's been supportive and all that, she never mentioned that I can recall, unless it was in some of the redacted statements. And there were a few redacted statements, I'm not going to lie. But I don't recall her mentioning that he was a good husband. She never mentioned how he acted towards her at home. And I say this out of speculation. I think there's a reason for it. And again, that's purely speculation on my end. Because I believe allegedly she was forced by Scientology to write nice things about Danny. And that she's not going to lie. So she allegedly, supposedly, would omit the things that she could be considered as lying about, such as her personal relationship with him outside of her children, her child, I should say, and all that. And I think the only reason she would, write the letter beyond Scientology telling her to, which I know they had to have, is because she wants the financial support for her daughter. And that was probably one of the things they threatened her with. And I can't really blame her. I mean, as a mother, your kids come first. It's just how it works. And I know that she allegedly, again, all speculation, is probably worried about what would happen if she pulled a Jane Doe, basically. She's probably worried that the whole crew's going to come after her, the family, everything. And again, you can't really blame her for being worried or scared or whatnot. That's probably the other reason why she's saying she's not going to divorce him, allegedly. Why that was her stance. The last I saw, I think that was her stance, that she wasn't going to divorce him. I feel like that's going to come in time. I mean, he's not getting out anytime soon. I don't see her writing a bunch of letters to him or visiting him in the SA wing. And I think it'll come to a point where everything boils over and she spills the beans on her end as well, allegedly. And from what I heard, she's not innocent either. But that's neither here or there with this particular case. And I feel bad for anyone that goes through it, even if they have done it themselves. Which, I mean, sounds kind of ridiculous, but it's one of those things that, yeah, karma's a bitch, but you don't wish harm on anybody, regardless. It's something we are going to have to keep an eye out for, I believe. Now, before I wrap up, my next video is going to be on Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis and the letters and the aftermath of all that, because all that is still rolling in. I just wanted to get Bijou out of the way first because I found it simple yet interesting, if that makes sense. Um, Anyone who knows me knows I read into things and I like to be able to read into where someone is at mentally. I'm no psychologist, psychiatrist, anything like that, but I've read up enough. I've got my own issues. Everyone knows about them. That because of what I've gone through, I like to look into why people write what they do, why they say what they say, and what position that they are in, were in, mentally, physically, to gain a better understanding of why they said what they said or wrote what they wrote at the moment. But that's going to be all for now. Hopefully tomorrow I will have the video about Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis out. And I'm not sure who I'm going to do after that yet. We'll have to see. But everyone, take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.